Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Scales of the Soul, and tonight we're going to get into a channeled message reading. I'm going to pull out we're going to start with some alchemy cards first off to see what type. No, you know what? We're going to start with the archetypes actually. We're going to see what type of archetypes are surrounding tonight, what spiritual helpers you have surrounding you that would like to come through. And for those of you that end up popping on, if you have any questions, I'm feeling like pulling cards to answer them for you. So let's see. What kind of archetypes does the collective have surrounding them right now, Spirit? If you guys want to book a personal reading, my website is down below in the description box, so feel free to look around. I also offer some other healing modalities as well. So feel free to look around. Let's see. Well, first off, we got the underworld. I love that, actually. I'm also a shamanic practitioner, and the underworld is essentially, it's not heaven or hell. It is essentially where our power animals or power spiritual guides reside. Oftentimes, there are animals that live down there that we can associate as part of our spiritual team and learn their essence and their powers, their wisdom, their guidance. We have the Bardo. Interesting. Hold on. I want to get one more. Give me one more alchemy card here, Spirit. This is a very interesting energy right off the bat. The Bardo is kind of the liminal space between here and the next realm. It's essentially where it's kind of like in the shadow. Wow. Okay. All right, Spirit. Well, you got a lot to say. So the Bardo is kind of the liminal space between worlds, between realms, between where we end up in the afterlife. It's essentially sort of the initiation to where your soul ends up from here. Again, it's not heaven or hell. This is a lot of shadow type of energy. And shadow has been a continual theme in a lot of my readings lately. But the shadow work is ultimately the integration of your light and dark bodies. It is your traumas, trials, challenges, things that have sort of stood in your way that have forced you to grow, to evolve, to learn from. And there's sort of a symbiosis between all of these cards. These are all very transformative spaces. They are all kind of spaces of looking through the lens of change, transformation. As I said before, the underworld in shamanism is a very, very, very powerful place. Again, it's where your power animals reside. It is where your, a lot of times, ancestors reside. Again, not heaven and hell. It is not that type of contrast. It is, again, sort of a shadowy space, a place in which there's a lot of discovery, a lot of knowledge, a lot of information to be gained, a lot of clarity through swimming through the challenging waters of life, through the perspectives of learning from past stories, past paradigms, past stoppages, challenges, whatever it may have been for you. They all intrinsically weave together in order for you to learn the lessons, in order for you and your karmic contracts in which you've signed to come to this incarnation. Interesting. Perhaps for some of you, there's certain incantations. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. For some of you, I'm going to say this straight up. For some of you, there may have been some spell work that has been used in your name. because I'm hearing incantation, and I'm not hearing it as the viewer being speaking it. I'm hearing it as an external influence using some form of an incantation to permeate your light field, which is very interesting. I'm going to pull some more cards on that incantation. What I meant to say, though, was incarnation. So, I believe strongly that in reincarnation, I believe in past lives, I believe that we sign soul contracts to come into this physical form in order to learn lessons, in order to evolve as our spiritual body, in order to transcend into the next space and place in which we would like to experience in this human form, which is what the Bardo kind of is. It's essentially this initiation space. It is where your soul is almost kind of brought into a review of what your experience was in this human form. And oftentimes the Bardo I associate to Anubis, which is an Egyptian god. It is the dog human hybrid. And it's this Egyptian dog who weighs your heart on the scales, weighs your heart against a feather on the scales. And if your heart is lighter than that of a feather, you transcend on into a higher realm, a higher experience, a higher human, not even human, higher soul form. It doesn't necessarily even mean human. But if your heart is heavier than a feather, then there's definitely some karmas that you chose not to learn in this lifetime. And that's okay. That doesn't mean it's wrong or right. That just means simply that you haven't learned all of the karmic lessons and what you signed up for this lifetime. This is a very, very interesting energy. I'm going to look into, let's see, some of the archetypes that are also influencing or leading. I'm hearing each of these. Let's see. What do we have? Thanks for being on, guys. I appreciate your support. What archetype is ushering this underworld? Ooh. This underworld. I'm sorry, this alchemy. The alchemy of this underworld. Gold. Okay. Well, gold is quite literally like the most prevalent form of alchemy. Alchemy was originated as turning base metals into gold. That was the original, I suppose, definition or theory of what it was. But alchemy is essentially the transformation of physical matter or even thought or even spiritual experience. But turning base metal into gold, literally turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. And that's essentially what this underworld card is telling me, is that through your spiritual connections, through your work with your spiritual team, there is this powerful, powerful alchemy, this restructuring, this transformation, this complete reinforcement, this complete regeneration of self that is happening right now in this time. A lot of your spirits from this underworld realm, this powerful space, are ushering you through this transformation, guiding you through this shadow work, guiding you through the challenges, so you can, once you do reach that Bardo space, so you can transform and transcend on. And the further you choose to learn, and the further you choose to alchemize those challenges or those pains or anything of that nature, the higher you elevate, the higher that you understand your soul's purpose, your soul's trajectory. Yes, I'm going to get through 2 more of these, and then yes, you can absolutely ask a question, Annetta, if you're still on. Let's get another alchemy card on this Bardo archetype. What is the alchemy of this Bardo? How do we transcend this space? Also, this iris. Iris may be a name for some of you that may be very prevalent. But this vision, it's a cleared vision. It's no longer being stuck in sort of the what's dead and gone type of energy. Looking forward with a very colorful view. We have vinegar. Interesting. Well, vinegar is such a powerful agent. It can be very sour. It can be very, very bitter, right? And you can choose to look at it as that. But powerful vinegar can be very healing. It can be very cleansing. It can be very helping with clarity. Vinegar is one of the greatest cleaning agents. If you didn't know that, it's fantastic. But I'm looking at it from that standpoint of this is sort of like a cleansing of the soul. It is a clarity of the soul. It is a clarity of the mind. It is a clarity of which direction you want to go. There's this crossroad symbol in between, which is reminding me a lot of like the medicine wheel of each direction. You have a choice to go in any direction that you'd like, but it's up to you. There's also all of these little gold symbols surrounding it, which again, it's that alchemizing the shadow or the pain or the challenges in order to elevate, in order to, again, end up in the higher realm of where you'd like to be. And then we have the shadow. Ooh, this one's stuck. What do we have here? The Ouroboros. And what else? And copper. Interesting. Okay, so these two stuck on the shadow realm. The Ouroboros, all about, again, transformation. It's the snake that eats his own tail, the great serpent. Serpents can very, very well be representative of Kundalini awakenings. Again, like igniting and initiating all of your chakras, illuminating each of those. But again, it's this constant form of destruction and regeneration. It's this continual cycle, essentially, death and rebirth. And that's exactly what the shadow is. It's a death and it's a rebirth. It is going into the darkest parts of yourself, nurturing them, giving them the love and healing that they need in order for them to be reborn and to regenerate. And copper. Copper has, again, a lot of grounding energies, a lot of healing energies. I'm actually read copper from the book because I'm feeling very called to it. So let's see what copper has to say. Yeah, and if anybody has a question, I just wanted to get through a couple of cards to kind of feel out the energy of what this reading is going to be. But if you have a question, please go ahead and write that in the comments, and I would be more than happy to pull a couple of cards for you. Wrong book. Guess it would help if I have the right book in hand, right? Let's see. What does copper have for us, guys? And if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me continue to grow this channel and connect to as many people as possible. Yes, Annetta, I will get to that. Let me read this copper for you guys, and then I will gladly pull some cards for you. Copper, fertility, the womb, Venus. Well, you have a question already about Libra. Libra is Venus ruled, so maybe there's a message in here for you on that. In ancient times, on an island called Cyprus, copper was mined extensively to make vessels and tools. This island is the same fertile ground of Aphrodite, the goddess associated with the planet Venus and the forces of love, pleasure, and fertility. Such is the magic of copper. This golden-hued metal elicits delight and mystique, even a sense of awe. The copper card marks the arrival of Eros into the laboratory. It is likely that the alchemist has been hard at work for far too long, prioritizing scholarly pursuits over sensual pleasure. Get ready for a shift of priorities. For an awakening of the heart and the life-generating centers of the body. In the true alchemical experiment, nothing is excluded or separate from the work. Bring sensuality into the fold. and embrace it with reverence and curiosity. Aphrodite smiles upon you. Interesting. In esoteric wisdom, Venus and copper are associated with the kidneys. A letting go is likely required in order to embrace Eros with open arms. Though bright and warm when polished, copper is quickly oxidated, turning green or blue. Discern a metaphorical polishing up is in order. Interesting. So let's pull some cards for you. Annetta, if you're still on, that's really interesting. So, I mean, listen, if you're asking about a Libra, again, like I said, they are Venus ruled. There may be some clarity that needs to happen in this connection, some polishing up, some standing in the beauty and essence that you are in this connection, and not allowing for not decay, for aging to happen in there. Interesting. Having a very clear sense of what it is that you want. Let's get some cards for Annetta and her Libra connection. Let's see. I will say as well, with a lot of these cards that came out prior to this question, a lot of them are in a transformative state right now. There's a lot of this sort of limbo, this bridge between one part of your cycle and the next. It's kind of this limbo type of energy. So that being said, we have the Nine of Pentacles. Give me one more card, Spirit, for Annetta and her Libra connection here. And the King of Swords. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so again, this is kind of about a transformation, about where you're placing your value within this relationship, and is there clear communication? Is there very diplomatic communication with you in this Libra connection? I'm hearing the roosters call loudest in the morning. So perhaps your thoughts are very clear in the morning with this connection of what you need to know, what you need to receive, honoring, again, your true value within it. There's two birds here, which birds are messengers from the other realms. So should any bird kind of cross your path, pay attention. They are a messenger. Perhaps there's specific birds that may come to find you along your path with this connection. Look up their symbology. There are reasons for them to cross your path. They are trying to tell you something that is your spiritual team often telling you to pay attention. It's interesting. I will say, roosters are sometimes referred to as a COCK, and that is kind of chasing after this divine feminine aspect here. So there may be a bit of a runner chaser type of dynamic that I'm seeing with the two of you. And you're kind of in this space of almost not necessarily paying attention to these bird calls or these breadcrumbs I'm almost hearing as well that you may be receiving, and kind of just in this place of solace, in this place of kind of a rest period almost, I'm feeling, where the answers within, and you need to ask your higher self, ask your spiritual guides for the direction in which you would like which is serving your highest good in order to regenerate either this connection or the highest form of yourself. So that's what I have for you, Annetta. Empress. Ooh, spiritually attacked. Interesting. Well, I will say there is a lot of spiritual ancestors that have been coming through in my readings lately, that are very, very protective in guiding people and very, very protective of those that are going through significant spiritual awakenings right now. So protect yourself as much as you possibly can, but let's look into it a little bit. A lot of the cards that I pulled right off the bat for the initial kind of energy of this reading, as I was saying, are very transformative cards. There's a lot of cyclical aspects to them. However, there's a lot of old cycles closing and new cycles opening. So if it's an external force, which I also did, I did slip up. I was trying to say incarnation earlier and incantation came into mind. And I did say specifically that there are some, for some people, not everybody, this isn't going to resonate for everybody, but there are some people where incantations are being used against them. Whether that's for good or bad, I don't know. That's going to resonate differently for everybody, but there is some form of spiritual magic that is influencing other people. So let's get into it, Empress. What cards do we have for you? Wild. Okay. Well, we have the Empress in reverse here. Talk about interesting. Okay. We have the Empress in reverse, but the interesting thing about this card is that she's cloaked by this beautiful raven, right? And ravens are, for me, they symbolize a divine spiritual protector, a divine guide, a powerful mystic. So I will say that you are being very, very protected through this, but it was in reverse. So harnessing your power, learning how to harness your power. What's interesting as well is she's also kind of illustrated as sort of this puppet, right? Like, I don't know if you can see this, but she's got all these joints that are articulated together almost as in a puppetry type of form. And then these bees are kind of surrounding her, animating her in some ways. So I will say for you, bees are kind of a hive mentality. There may be, I hate to say it, but there may be somebody in your hive that is jealous of the honey. And by that, I mean, spirit speaks in metaphors often. And by that, I mean, there may be somebody that is in your hive that is close to you that may be jealous of your wins and they don't understand how you've accomplished these things. And it's maybe inadvertently, they're not necessarily trying to spiritually attack you. They may not even be aware of their power per se. But there is some form of, I will say, spell work. And when I say spell work, a lot of people don't realize, listen, when you think about spelling, right? Writing, spelling is literally a form of spell work. People don't even realize that just simply speaking certain words with the right influence, the right energy, the spiritual team is always listening. Your higher self is always listening. And I'm not talking about yours, I'm talking about theirs. So the power of energy, right? And where you direct it, people don't necessarily realize that they're using it in that way. So I don't know. I'm not feeling like this is malicious. I'm not feeling like it was intended for, again, like in a negative way. But there is some influence surrounding it. I will say that. Let's get one more card for you. What do we have? We have the Page of Cups. Yeah. And it's in reverse again. So there's somebody that is, there's a lot of emotion surrounding I'm hearing jealousy. There's a lot of emotion surrounding it, but it's a very like novice type energy. Like they don't realize that they're sending this type of destructive energy your way by any means. Again, like I really don't think it's malicious. I'm also hearing peace offering, which is interesting that I'm feeling like your spiritual teams, your higher self, and whoever this person is, their higher self is they're working this out in the higher realms. Interesting. And there's a peace offering that is being made. But it also takes work in our human form in order for that to be solidified. So if there's somebody that you're in turbulent water with, Empress, make peace. Make peace with that, because as you do, that will also allow them the reflection in the mirror that they need to see in their own karmic lessons. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for allowing me to pull some cards for you. Mindful mind. Okay. Mindful mind. Let's look into it. Let's see what happens. What do we have? Okay. We have what is that? Nine of Cups. Interesting. Okay. But let me see. Yeah. It came out in reverse. So I do see that there is still a lot of love. A lot of love there. However, the other party that you're speaking on. Thank you, Empress. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Okay, I do see mindful mind. There is still a lot of love there. However, this person that you are asking about, they're learning how to fill their own cups. And by that I mean they're on their own healing journey right now. Perhaps, you were the one that used to fill their cup completely, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of those things. And in that connection, they finally kind of realize that like they also play a role in fulfilling themselves and fulfilling their own cup. And there's this big transformation happening, this big regeneration, this regrowth, this snake around the cup here is kind of directly reflecting this Ouroboros, which is a snake that eats its own tail. And the snake that eats its own tail is a constant form of regeneration, destruction, and regeneration. And I feel like your husband is probably going through this really big regeneration aspect of himself right now, kind of relearning who he is. I don't know how long you guys have been married, how long you've known each other, but there is very much so this regeneration. I'm also hearing fall. I'm hearing in the fall, there's going to be a turning of the tides. There's going to be a newfound blossoming, a newfound growth between the two of you. Let me get one more card. The love is absolutely there. It's just, I feel like this counterpart is finally kind of looking into the mirror to take accountability on their own self-love, which is beautiful, oh, wow. Good for you. That's amazing. The love is absolutely there, mindful mind. I promise you that. Yeah. Now we have the Knight of Swords, which is a great card. So I'm hearing in the fall time, there's going to be a very, very strong communication and open heart, raw communication of where you two are at. Like I said, there's a full transformation that's happening right now. And don't take the, I'm hearing like distance, but it's emotional distance. Don't take that as something that is directly reflective of you. I again, like I really feel strongly that this energy is very much so a a period for him to reflect, to regenerate. We all go through cycles in life. We all go through constant regeneration of form. We're always meeting new aspects of ourselves, right? Um, so I'm hearing in the fall time, you're going to meet a very new version of your husband. You're going to meet a very new version of yourself, even. I mean, interesting. These Venus flytraps are really coming out. And the word Venus specifically came up earlier with copper. And Venus is all about love. Venus is all about beauty. It's all about understanding um, sort of like the little nuances of life, essentially. And I really feel like, through this sort of emotional distance, this introspection that your husband's going through, this sort of almost shadow work in some ways, um, there's going to be a whole new form that comes forward. And I'm hearing fall time for you. So be patient, hold the space. hold the space, hold the cup, hold the container. All you can do right now is just be in that supportive standpoint. But there will be a strong reconnection, I feel. What else? What else? Is anybody else on here that has a question? No more questions, guys? Well, if you haven't already and you guys feel called to it, please hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Really appreciate your support. All right, if nobody has a question, I'm going to clear this spread. Now, you know what? I'm going to pull some cards on this Ouroboros just because it's so strong here. We have the Four of Cups, rebalancing of energies, rebalancing of emotional state, taking rest period, reclaiming your innocence, reclaiming like a childlike wonder. I'm also hearing fertility with this bunny suit on here. And not in the sense of like pregnancy, but in the sense of like abundance. No problem, Mindful Mind. Thank you for bringing your questions and for your support. What else? What else is this regeneration? This Four of Cups here with this Ouroboros spirit. Justice. I love me the Justice card. That's my Libra card right here for you guys. A lot of Venus energy heavily influenced on this reading here. Let me just pop this on here because we got some lady bits on this one. But justice, divine justice will be served. Interesting. Empress, if you're still on, we have a lot of that bee energy again here, pollinating, that hive mentality. But justice, divine justice will always take course. This kind of goes back to the Bardo card in the beginning. It's that balancing of energies, the balancing of the beautiful and the challenging parts of life. Standing in your power. You know, Libras are, again, they're Venus ruled, which is all about beauty. It's all about aesthetic. It's all about fair optimism. I'm a Libra myself, hence Scales of the Soul. But, you know, we don't like conflict, you know, so it's a balancing of conflict, a balancing of challenges that I'm seeing here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to clear this spread, and then we're just going to pull out a couple of the what's the vibe just for the collective to close this out, since a lot of you are popping in and out here. Let's see. All right, what's the vibe of the final outcome for those that are tuned in? 33 on the clock. I love that. All right, what's the vibe for the collective? What do they need to know in these transformative energies? This Libran energy here that we got going on. We got masked and glow up. Again, cycles. You know, hiding. Again, this goes back to shadow work. It's come up so much in my readings lately, guys. I can't make it up, but it is what it is. And I honestly love shadow work. I think shadow work is ultimately the key to your highest healing. But again, there's a sort of aspect of kind of staying in the shadows in order for this new cycle to glow up for you, in order for this new opportunity, this new connection, this new success to happen. You had to go into this sort of hermit mode type of energy here. That's that shadow work, shadowy realms. Ooh, give me two more here. Spirit, what else? What else is going on for the collective? Hold on, guys. It's not flipping properly. Okay, give me two more, Spirit. Harmony. I mean, I think that's a great closing card. I'll take it. Finding balance again. That goes back to the Libra energy, the Venus energy, the Justice card, that Bardo. Finding harmony, harmony and balance. And for some of you, somebody is really missing you and taking the time. I'm going to take both those. Okay. We'll take them all, I guess. Why not? Spirit wants to speak. For some of you, there's somebody that's really missing you, that's missing your connection, that's missing your company, that's missing celebrating with you, hanging out with you, even just like those, those intimate nights together, having a nice meal and a glass of wine. There is somebody that is definitely missing some of you. Interesting. And that may be brought into harmony, back into harmony for those of you that are in separation with a certain someone in your life, or it may not even be a specific person. It may even just be bringing harmony of an old connection, of something that really fulfilled you for a long time. Whether that be a job, a hobby, an interest, there may be that reconnection harmony happening right now for you in this new cycle, this new glow up, this new essence. And then we have smell the roses in today. And this to me is really so much about just being present, about being here. Yeah, just being present, taking the time to smell the roses, taking the time to slow down, to enjoy yourself, to be in celebration, to live in the now, live in the present. So that being said, this is going to be your reading. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Wow. Well, some people have their own opinions, Roxanne. Anyways, that being said, this is going to conclude your reading. I really appreciate you guys being here. If this resonated, let me know. Thank you for those of you that had questions and allowed me to read you. And I appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your day or night, wherever you may be. Keep love in your heart and keep kindness contagious. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.